Well, let's begin the show then with an exclusive interaction that I had with the head of Amazon India, the country manager of Amazon India. In fact, GST changes have come in at the right time, and that will spur consumption. And that's, again, the word that's coming in from Amazon India's country director, Samir Kumar. In fact, I had this exclusive conversation with Mr. Kumar earlier in the day today. He not only spoke about the impact of GST reforms on consumption, on a seller ecosystem, but he also spoke about the festive season expectations and plans for quick commerce expansion, even as the company is looking at venturing into diverse geographies. And it's not only going to be limited to Bengaluru and Delhi, where the company is not operating a pilot anymore. In fact, it is fully operational in those two cities. But let's cut across and see what else did Samir have to say in this exclusive conversation. Samir, thanks very much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on ET Now. This is going to be your second innings in India. Your first innings was from 2012 till 2016, I believe.
That's right.
And you started off Amazon very early on with Jeff Bezos as a systems engineer in 1999. We'll talk about the Great Indian Festival as well, but give us a sense of how much of things moved from the last time when you were stationed here to now.
I think it's very amazing to see the growth of Amazon India for the past 8 years that I was missing out of it. I left behind a much smaller business, and when I came back, I think we have become a household name, and the size and the reach of Amazon is so big. We had few thousand sellers, and now we have 1.7 million sellers. If you look at I started out with one FC in Mumbai. Now we have over 8.5 million cubic feet of space. If you look at our delivery station or delivery network, just this year we have invested over 2,000. So the scale of the business is something that it was amazing to see, and how much customers are loving what we do. So along with that, so that's the big change that I have seen over the past 8 years that I was missing. But still have the same spirit that we still value price, convenience, selection. Those are the things that are our pillars. We have India's largest selection. When we launched with books, we had the largest book selection. Right. Now we have India's largest selection. If you look at our sellers, it's grown quite a bit. If you look at our convenience play, we deliver over 1 million items same day, over 4 million items next day. So all of that has been amazing to see and come back to. And I have inherited a much larger team, which is also an interesting way. I was a startup business in 2012 when I was building and starting out with a small team. Now it's a scale business, and it's amazing to see the growth of it.
You have a scaled business which has very many interesting verticals as well. Quick commerce is there, of course, the diagnostics business, but we'll come to that in just a bit. Let's first talk about the Great Indian Festival. Starts 23rd September.
That's correct.
One of your executives, Amazon executives, stated, and I quote, most exciting edition this is going to be. So are you anticipating the most exciting numbers as well?
Of course, whenever we do, every year when we have our festival, we tend to go and surpass the last one. In fact, the last event that we had, Prime Day of 2025, was one of the biggest Prime Day we had.
Okay.
We had an 18,000 order a minute, which is a very large amount of orders that we processed in just a minute during our Prime Day. So we expect the same out of the Great Indian Amazon Festival, because it is... We spend the whole year preparing for this, and we work with our sellers. Selling partners are really excited about this festival, and so we are too, and looking forward to September 23rd for all of Amazon customers, and September 22nd, one day early for our Prime customers.
For your Prime customers, and this, of course, comes in at a time when the government has also introduced the bumper GST rate rationalization bazooka, both in terms of slabs and, of course, the rate cuts that we've seen. If you could give us a sense of how, your sale days are going to pan out, especially as far as your expectations are concerned in Tier 2 and 3 towns and cities versus, the urban metros, the kind of categories that will particularly see a boost as a result of this policy move.
Yeah, I think even before that, our focus, if you look at where are we expanding our network, tier 2, tier 3 cities have been focused. Like if you like Hubli and Vizag and Kochi are some of the cities that we are building or expanding our network into, because we didn't have very fast delivery to those cities. So we are going to expand that. So even for Prime Day, for example, most of our new Prime customers that we signed up came from these smaller towns and cities. So we are seeing adoption of e-commerce and people coming online and shopping online across the country, especially from tier 2, tier 3 cities. In terms of GST changes, we are really excited about, like it came at the right time and hopefully it will spur consumption. But we are also very hopeful about how it's going to help the seller. The GST Council met. There's not just about the reduction in the rate, the slab rate, but also how much the government has listened to us around, let's make the life of selling online easier for all our sellers. So if you go into the details, there's so many of those changes that we are excited about, which will make the life of a small, medium business selling online much easier. And I'm really excited about the long-term impact of those changes.
Absolutely. And boosting the seller network, well, that was one promise that Jeff Bezos made and made a commitment towards when he was in India in 2020. But talking about, the kind of expectations that you have with respect to these festive sale days, will it be safe to say that the sales this year are going to supersede the sales that perhaps Amazon registered last year? And how is the quick commerce play really getting factored in?
I think like sale every year since we launched, this will be our 11th Great India Festival, every year has surpassed the prior year. So, and this year will be no different. We are hoping that, and we are quite confident that this will be much bigger than the prior year because with the GST changes coming in. And so hopefully we'll see a much bigger change in the coming year. But let's stay tuned because we have made all the preparation. We have increased the selection that we have. We have the sellers that are more excited about. So we are, instead of like whatever we had, we have 1.7 million sellers selling on our platform. We have added fulfillment capability and capacity around the country. We have increased the speed, so more than 1 million items are available for same day. We have increased our sub-same day delivery. So they are all going to help us. So speed across selection is the one that we are focused on. If you look at quick commerce, it just serves a small sliver of that selection.
Okay.
Like about 8 to 10,000, mostly everyday essential product, consumables and everyday essentials product. And we are building that capability, and they will also sell, like that last minute gifting, selling consumables, or your daily need during the festive season. We'll be ready for that. But we'll be ready for this large amount of apparel and shoes and festive product that you need during the festival season that you are preparing for. Like when I was growing up, like we used to wait for Diwali for the new dresses that we're going to get or the new clothes that we're going to get. And all of that will be available to you same day, next day, 2 days. But then on top of that, we'll add all kind of gifting packs and everything that we do for core consumable in our Amazon Now, which is expanding across the country.
Right. So when we talk about Amazon Now, which is essentially a quick commerce platform, this is the new baby, new kid on the block. And I think all the companies, they want to sort of make the maximum out of. There are incumbents, there are new companies as well. But in terms of your expansion, I believe that the Bengaluru pilot is no more a pilot. It's fully functional. And so is the Delhi, project, that pilot.
Yeah, I would not, we were never in a pilot. We were making sure that the first stores that we launched, they worked really well. We always take a customer backward approach. We had to make sure that things were working well. So we spent time honing that. And once we did that, after that, it's a hockey stick. We are expanding very rapidly. And some of them, like we are launching stores every day now.
Okay.
So these micro-fulfillment centers are getting expanded. And as soon as a small FC or the mini FC or the micro FC is ready in a neighborhood, we light it up. So stay tuned. Like if you don't see Amazon Now icon on your app, hopefully in the coming days in Delhi and Bangalore, you'll definitely see that. But it goes beyond that. It's going to start going. So it's not just Delhi that we are talking about. If you live in Gurgaon or you live in Noida, so it's entire NCR that we're going to cover. And it's going to happen very soon. Like we are And stay tuned for rest of the country
So
as
what
well.
are the timelines? What are the timelines that you're working with? And which city is going to be next on your radar as your priority
we can talk about that right now.
Because Bombay is feeling left out. Mumbai is feeling left out.
So we'll have the plans for all the cities. Stay tuned. You'll see all of that happen very quickly.
Is it within a matter of weeks or months?
Stay tuned.
All right. Samir, let me also ask you, since you talk about the expansion of quick commerce into various other Indian cities, what's the kind of investment that you're making into quick commerce? I believe that a couple of months back, Amazon made a commitment of 2,000 crores, deploying 2,000 crores into operations of the company and the various platforms that it's currently operating. So how much of that is going into quick commerce, and how much are you putting in as far as your dark store expansion is concerned?
Okay. So 2,000 crores is for our core network. It's for improving our same day, next day, 2-day delivery into all the tier cities. So it has nothing to do with quick commerce.
Right.
Quick commerce is a new business for us. And for that, whatever it takes, like for us, that's what we're going to do. Whatever it takes, we have entered that and we are very serious about it. And so far, the results that we have seen, both myself and my leadership, not just in India, but around the world, are very excited about the result we have seen, especially with our Prime member base and how well customers are responding to that. So we are very excited. So whatever it takes is my answer for quick commerce investment. The 2,000 crores is mostly for speeding up delivery around the country, especially, as we said, the tier 2, tier 3 cities. We have built the network in what we call the white spaces. We had a few areas where we didn't have good coverage, and we are working on that, whether it's the Kolkatas of the world or the Patnas of the world or the Hublis and the Kochis of the world. So we are investing in that. We don't divulge the investment that we make in quick commerce, but we'll do whatever it takes to be a big player in this.
Whatever it takes, and that really means that the investments are going to sort of come more and more into this business as well. But let me also ask you, Samir, since we're talking about a demand boost on account of GST rate rationalization policy that the government has introduced, do you think that there's going to be a glut, there's going to be a slowdown in demand till the time your festive season kicks in? Because that's also around the same time that these new rates come into effect.
Yeah, I think some of that ups and downs will continue to happen, but guess what? Like, that's only 2 weeks away. The festive season is going to start. There'll always be some ups and downs, but we have seen so far strong demand for some of our consumables category, and across the board we have not seen a big slowdown. But guess what? In the long run, we'll be fine. I think what we are excited about is this GST bill that has been tabled, that it's going to spur demand, and it will have a long-term impact on overall consumption. And that's what is exciting for us.
And for sellers as well, like you rightly mentioned.
Sellers is for the whole, in the entire changes that we made in terms of registration for a seller. Right. A seller can now, doesn't have to go to various states and register themselves. They can just stay in their state and be. And why is it important for us? Because the closer we move their inventory to the customers, the faster it gets. And for sellers to be able to sell in various states and put their inventory wherever they want to, instead of registering in each of those states, I think we are very excited about that.
Right. And how excited are you about the diagnostics business, on-demand diagnostics business, which you announced a couple of months back itself? Okay. What's the kind of traction that you've seen? And if you could talk about your expansion plans about that vertical.
I think I would just characterize this as not just diagnostic. We have the pharmacy business, we have the diagnostic business, and we are also going to do the entire trifecta of medical services, right? That's what we're going to do. Because if you look at around the country, or around the world, right, this is an important need for customer. And we tend to take a customer backward approach to say, are there things that we can do in this area that will be differentiated for our customers? And we believe so. Like, we can build something that can be differentiated for customers in terms of services that they get. And then we ask the question, does it have scale? And we believe that this will have scale because you and I, everybody in this room, or or in the world will have some need for a doctor or a medical service or a medication. So it's a need for consumers around the world. It is differentiated. It is going to have scale. And then we ask the question, when is scale, can we make money doing it?
Right.
And we believe we can. So I think when all those three conditions are true, then we're going to invest in the long run for this business. And we believe we are doing that. So you'll hear a lot more about our overall trifecta of businesses in this space in the coming months.
Right. Samir, let me also ask you about the export side of your business, given the fact that, some point in your career, you also was focused specifically on the export side of, Amazon's business as well. Last year you set a target of reaching $14 billion by 2024. Have you been able to cross that target, and where do you stand at the moment?
So I think I'll start by saying that it is our sellers in India should be able to sell their products around the world. And we have a very large customer base, not just in North America, US, Canada, Mexico, but also in Europe, in Japan. And so we want, and the Indian products and sellers, there are some really good quality product that can go and sell around the world.
Absolutely.
If you look at, we have enabled about 150,000 sellers to sell globally from India. We have built a platform, so we have invested a lot in technology, in providing logistics service. Right. But if you go back to the numbers, we have 1.7 million sellers in India. So less than 10% are exporting today, because there are challenges in getting. So we are making sure that we build the product in a way that it enables them to sell globally without any of those challenges, that remove the friction. And we believe that 14 billion that you've posted, we are above that. We actually, in earlier this year, when we announced our plan for further, we raised that target in 2030 to $80 billion, because India has a manufacturing base, India has a seller base, will be very large for the rest of the world. And what we have seen around the world, that sellers around the world will be successful selling on Amazon marketplaces around the world. And I'm really excited about that.
Right, and that really is aligned with the government's policy of diversifying exports to various geographies. That's essentially what the government is working on with its export promotion mission. But just one final question, Samir, before we let you go, and this essentially is related to the geopolitical disruptions we're seeing on account of the US-India trade deal, which the Indian Commerce Minister is hoping to finalize at least the first tranche by November this year. In terms of your business and in terms of the disruptions that it could have possibly created, could you give us a sense of what kind of disruptions has it really created, or are you anticipating it'll create if the trade deal gets further delayed?
Look, we are focused on our seller and our selling partners who are selling in India or around the globe, and we want to make their life easier. What happens in the government, I don't control. So I'm focused on what we control. We control making sure we make the listing experience for sellers very, very easy. So I'm focused on that. Enable them to list their product in India and able to export or send it out to wherever, whether it's Europe or North America, and provide them the logistics capability and make it cheap for them to sell it or send it to those locations. So listing experience, supply chain experience, and then enabling them to be able to get their money back into the country once they sell the product is all the products we are working on. I'm really excited about that part. And in that, I believe that we are making the life of selling globally much easier for our sellers in India. And I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. And even, Samir, as we speak, the government is going to be working on a mission, a policy to sort of boost e-commerce exports from India, given the opportunity that it really presents. Well, on that note, thank you very much for taking the time out, and all the very best to you for the Great Indian Festival.
Thank you so much for having me here, and look forward to you as a shopper on the festival days.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.